So Insight's been basically dropped, and I'm just gonna get some cameras in the background while I talk. But chat, what are we thinking though? What's our thoughts right now for Insight? I'm gonna go through a couple of options I think they should go with, and just my thoughts. So obviously the three we're working with now, we have Kleenex as your flex, Joe Deceives, and Riao as your main subs. Okay. Now the first thing we have to understand in this current day and age of the game, every single player is expected to do every single thing. The only time roles are very applicable is when we have, for example, a break off or a fresh wave, or when options are open and people will prioritize certain things. Okay. There is not a situation where someone is going to be like going for the heal and then be like, oh, I'm going to get off because I'm not the heal guy. If you have that mentality or that way of playing, you're more than likely going to lose, because you basically have to find yourself in the perfect situation at every single scenario. Okay. So that's why when people see that, oh, Kleenex can't be a flex, it's like, no. With the way the games are going now, like especially like look at last year, the flex role was basically someone that could use the aims and the jackal and fill in the gaps and kind of fill in the pacing between the main AR, who's traditionally a little bit of a slower player, versus your two submachine guns. We just want to make sure that we have a bit of a gap filler, right? And that is most of the time your flex. I'll give you a perfect example. Look at Opta Texas. Okay, what we had was Skies and Dashi, and the thing is, Skies was a little bit, well, not a little bit, but Skies was slower as an AR. So overall, you had Huke and Shotzi with one layer of pacing, and then you had Skies play slow with Dashi, and there was no gap there. So your subs were constantly kind of getting exposed, and your ARs were constantly kind of like picking up kills that maybe don't have as much value. So you bring in Mercules, and he's more like the perfect pace to that team, and now you can see more aggression. You just see it makes the game easier for everyone else. So we now are basically, as Toronto Ultra, we're going to pretend we're the GM, how we're approaching this. Okay, so we have a very, very, very aggressive team, and I think building your team with aggression first in this current day of COD is probably the smartest way to go about it, by building the team with aggressive talent, just like we're seeing with Riao, Kleenex, and Joe. So now what we need to do is we need to fill up a player that's more of an assault rifle based player that is going to do the things on the map that are required, and he's probably going to be a bit slower than these players, but not slow where the pacing makes no sense. Okay, so Dashi, for example, he wasn't exactly like sitting at the back of the map, but he wasn't exactly like who in cheeks, you know what I'm saying? He had his own balance. He was probably the slowest on the team, but in a positive way, where he was playing like the perfect main AR. Okay, and that's what we're looking for now. So if I'm Toronto, we have to be realistic. Okay, realistic right now. And the players we're looking at, if I'm Toronto, if they're speaking to me like, oh, what should we go with? The first player right now that I'm looking at is a Dan Ghosty. I think Dan Ghosty right now, he fits the mold perfectly of someone that's intelligent enough to understand the pacing required. He's played with Joe Deceives before. They had a very successful end of the year. Okay.
Find another way.
He is talented enough to kind of fit in with his roster, and they're, you know, they have the potential to build a championship roster with that. He's a great communicator and is developed into a more of a leadership style of a player, which I think, again, you kind of need in this system. This is one system where I would say Kleenex has the most experience. You kind of also want somebody that's won before. He won 2 chips this year. We want a bit of a winner. We want experience. We want a talented player. He kind of, if I'm writing all these attributes on a piece of paper, he kind of fits a lot of the mold. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's a very, very good player for this system. He has good communication, again, things that we need. I think Ghosty would be my #1 option. Someone like Draza I would also look at, but I think he's going to more than likely stay at FaZe. Again, we have to look at our bank account, the financial stability behind it, who we can actually go for and stuff like that. Draza is more likely going to be offered somewhere else. We don't have an unlimited budget. So Draza, I'm going to leave out of this equation. I don't think he's very obtainable. If we can, great. I just don't think he's obtainable. So I think Ghosty is one of my biggest options. However, Falcons are linked to him. Gentlemates are linked to him. So again, we're looking at a budget thing. If they're going to offer a similar project of development with a better team, with better budget in terms of salary, he's probably going to go there. So Ghosty will be my first option. Whether we can get him or not is up to him and the situation. The next player I'm going to look at is maybe we look at someone like a Nasty. I don't mind Nasty in this situation. We're basically running back the Modern Warfare 2 team, Modern Warfare 3 team, which at the end of the year had fairly decent success. They finished second at EWC. And instead of having Kremp, we're basically having Kleenex and Real. Sorry, I forgot Ghosty's not there yet. So what we'll do is instead of having Kremp and Ghosty, we're having Kleenex and Real. It's not a terrible option if you're Toronto for Nasty, but I don't know if he fits in as well as he does on other teams. Again, as that main AR, I think he's just more suited as that flex, that kind of role filler. So I'm not really 100% on Nasty as the main AR in this team. So I'm looking at Ghosty as my main option. Chat, who are we looking at if we're looking at, you know, as options? Who are you guys looking at right now with who's available? The other player I'm looking at is like a Mamba. With Mamba, I think it's more... Yes, you could say it's more risky, but I don't think it's a risk. And let me tell you why as well. Another thing we could look at as well, chat, is if we're Toronto, when Major 1 hits the fan and Rostermania happens, let's use this year as an example, the players like Hook and Neptune and stuff like that, they are available. So I think if you're Toronto, you're like a top 5 team in terms of where people would want to go. You have, I would say, an option to take a risk, and if it doesn't work out the way you want, you're not like, it's not like your season's chalked because you're only one move away. I really think the other 3 players are in a great spot where we just need to kind of get the main AR thing right. So I'm not against them taking a risk on like a Mamba because I think Mamba will be good. And let's just say worst case scenario, it's maybe not going the way you want. Major 1, you can just kind of replace him. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If the case is that he's maybe not playing to his potential and they're not seeing it work, whatever it could be. So I think they could low-key take a risk here, dip into challenges, get like a Mamba. Or they could, again, go the other route of like dip into challenges and get like an experienced player. Bro, I always say this, but for me, I know it's a rogue one, chat. Bro, I like Illy on this team, man. I really like Illy. And I just feel like Illy's a good player to take a risk on because he's a winner. He's in challenges. It's a fresh season, fresh start. I don't know, man. I like an Illy in this move. I do think Ghosty's my number 1 pick, though. I think Ghosty's my number 1 pick. It's just, as well, chat, they're dropping insight. So it's like, are they trying to get someone that's a ready-made faster player? Like, what are they going with? I don't know, man. I don't know. It also depends on like what the team's looking for. But if I'm the general manager here, I think I'm going for Ghosty, giving everything I can. If I can't get him because of like financial reasons, or maybe he just doesn't want to join, whatever, maybe a Kenny. But again, if he's going Thieves, that's chalked as well. And then I'm probably going for a Mamba, bro. I think Mamba really impressed me at EWC, not just from the series, but even just in general. Like, I think he had a lot of very, very good variables. You could just see from that one series against FaZe and against Omi, and I just think he's a good player. I think he's a good player. And sometimes you got to take the risk, man. They did it with Mercules, and guess what happened? It was godlike. He ends up going to Optic. Is what it is. So low-key, I'm like, maybe you guys take the risk, bro. Maybe you go for Mamba. What are we thinking, chat? What do you guys think? Is there anyone that you guys think that I haven't mentioned? Because I haven't really, this is just kind of first thing to my head. I haven't really looked at the paper of who's available, stuff like that. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm sure there's someone I missed. Is there anyone I missed to join this roster, chat? As a main AR to join Toronto Ultra. Like I said, they have a very exciting project here. They have 3 unbelievable, aggressive SMG players. I just think that this AR is going to be the mold to the team. He's going to be the guy that kind of fills in where they need to, and I think they have a really good operation here. I'm trying to think if there's any other ARs I've kind of missed out here, chat. Because players like, that's what I'm saying, players like Sib and stuff as well, like, I think they're going to be more suited. Sib, Nasty, they, for me, are more suited to, like, these other projects, the Gentlemates, the Vega, stuff like that. I think for Toronto, we need, like, a ready-made AR player that's going to kind of fill in the gaps. But someone like Mamba, even though he's not ready-made in terms of, like, pro, I think he, you know, we give him the chance because it could work out. Because he's going to a good system as well, chat. So right now, the player you get in, whatever talent you get in, they're more than likely going to play to their potential because of the system they're in. They're in a good system. Bro, low-key, like, Beans would be very good in this roster, but there must have been something internally for him not to be here. Because I think Beans would be good in this roster. I think if you're going to get, like, a player, like, obviously we got Insight, so, like, I don't think we're going to get, like, a Skies or something, because at that point, you just keep it Insight. So for me, I kind of feel like Mamba, Ghosty, those are kind of the players we're looking at. I'm trying to really think. who is in the league at the end of the year that we could really look at here. Chat, low-key, those are the players I'm looking at, man. Ghosty, stuff like that. I'm curious to see what the rumors actually are, though. What are the actual rumors, chat? Who are they actually going for, rumor-wise? Let me see. Let me look on Twitter. Let's look at Ronnie. Let's look at Ronnie, chat. Yeah, I don't know, but there's a new roster we're gonna discuss as well, but okay. Yeah, well, I guess we're ending at that, man. We'll guess it. I'll end it at that. Maybe, I just don't know if Ghosty joins it. I think right now, Ghosty's more than likely joining Vegas. I'm very curious to see what Toronto do here. Do they take, I think they take the gamble and dip into challenges, chat. I think they do, man. I think they do. Because even in this situation, bro, like, Vivid was playing AR, bro. Do we go for a Vivid? You know what I'm saying? Do we go for a Vivid? I don't mind, like, I said it already, like an Illy take. I'm actually not against an Illy, bro. I really like Illy. I'm not against an Illy. I'm not. Because I think he has a lot. He's won before. If he could fix his comms a little bit, because he kind of tweaks out in his comms a bit. Even in the Optic Dynasty match, you saw, like, the Legacy match, bro, he was tweaking his comms a little bit. Even Attach was like, bro, I don't know what he's saying. So if he could fix his comms, bro, which, bro, he's one of the smartest players. I really fuck with Illy, chat. So I'm actually, like, all for an Illy gamble here. He's also lives in Toronto, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Which helps. Because I was saying this before, chat. I think Illy in Toronto is just such a good system for him. You get the best out of him. And let's just say it doesn't go the way it wants. Then, you know, we dip into challenges is what it is. But this guy's won before. He's a good player. He's a smart player. He'll make your S&D better for sure. He has talent around him. He's a winner, bro. He's won champs before. He's one of those winners that is in challenges that just wants to play again. I think you give him a chance. I really do, chat. Are you guys hating on the Illy take? What do you guys think for the Illy take? People might not agree, but yeah, that's kind of my take on that.